If immortality was granted to 1 million individuals worldwide, what would be a fair selection process? Russian roulette. Reverse Russian roulette. Instead of 1 bullet, there's 5. The person who doesn't die is immortal. Fight to the death to see who is worthy. I'm straight up camping till the final circle in that case. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Randomly choose 500,000 people who each get a +1. That feeling when your parent chooses your sibling as their +1. And your other parent chooses the dog. So if you're young, do you physically age? No, you stay forever healthy, but for the sake of example, let's say you stay somewhere between 20 to 40 years old. Thank God. 'Cause I would be pissed if I had to live as a 5-year-old forever. Rock, paper, scissors. Highest ratio of good deeds to bad deeds. Wouldn't want 1 million awful people to be on the planet forever. All sweet grandmothers, but only the sweetest of the sweet. And only ones who can make the best cookies. So in millions of years when the sun explodes, you want the sweet grandmothers floating in space helplessly for all eternity, you sicko? They'll be found and continue to be amazing. After thousands of years floating in space, Grandma impacts a distant planet. She stumbles out of the crater and adjusts her glasses. She brushes off her somehow untouched sweater and addresses the indigenous life forms of this foreign world with, "Hi there. Are you folks hungry?" Adaptability. The world changes dramatically over the course of a few decades. This would only be compounded over centuries and millennia. Think about all the old people who don't want to learn about computers or hold on to outdated prejudices. If you truly wanted to live forever, you would need to be able to not only accept but embrace new situations, technologies, mindsets. It may actually be difficult to find 1 million people who truly have the kind of fluidity while also being discerning. Everyone gets assigned a number. And have the random number god handle the rest. Dibs on being random number god. All random number gods are ineligible from receiving immortality. For more rules and regulations, please see your random number god handbook or contact your local random god HR department. People serving life sentences for heinous crimes. Forever in prison. That's like hell. Breaking out of prison would be a lot easier if you couldn't die. 1. Me. 2. People I decide should be permitted to be immortal along with me. Really good, kind parents, as determined by them, their grown kids, and others involved. As long as there are people, there are going to be kids who need somewhere safe. Let's give them some great eternal babysitters. Imagine being an eternal babysitter. Caring for these kids, watching them grow up and eventually die, and then repeating that cycle over and over again. That would destroy you. Supreme empathy, intelligence, logic, a burning desire to further our species in the best possible way, selflessness, and a fucking wicked sense of humor. Only the smartest. How would you find out? You need the smartest for that. That's a smart answer. At random. Dispassionate, fair to rich and poor alike. Something like divergence that tests your different sociological skills. Can you describe one example of a test? Hot dog eating contest. This man gets immortality. Step 1. Choose Keanu Reeves. Step 2. Get Keanu Reeves to choose person 2. Step 3. Get person 2 to choose person 3. Step 4. Keep going until you have 1 million people. Step 5. Ask the last person if they are happy with the people chosen. If so, stop, you have your list. If not, they can choose a person not on the list to replace with someone on the list. Step 6. If there's a swap, the new person may also do a swap if they wish. Step 7. Keep going until nobody wants to swap or until somebody that's been taken off the list is returned to it. Note, nobody knows who picked who or how the list is made, or about any swaps except for the person who picked/made the swap. People may ask, but people are not obligated to tell or even tell the truth. Interesting referral process, and it's only right to start with Keanu Reeves. Haha, one thing I might adjust is anyone who's chosen can give up their own spot for someone else, then that new person continues the process. I think just whoever wants it. I can't imagine many people actually wanting to be immortal. It would be epic. No, it wouldn't. You'll watch all your loved ones die, and start doing drugs to make you feel better. 100 years go by, and you begin to feel out of place in this rapid developing world. Then 1,000 years passes, and you can barely tell the difference between one human being to another. Their lives are so short compared to what you've been through that it seems like a blink of an eye. You cannot form emotional connections with anyone. 1 million years passes. If humans are still alive, they would have evolved to something you've never seen. Eventually, the Earth becomes uninhabitable, with you as its only life form. Have fun wandering on a wasteland. Then the Earth gets engulfed by the sun, which is where you'll be, forever. Making it completely random will ensure a higher level of genetic diversity across the entire population, which will eventually be more beneficial than any other option. Selection according to genetic diversity would do that, random selection will not. I.e. Australian Aborigines, Khoi/San people, forest peoples/pygmies are very comparatively genetically different but also a tiny minority of the population. If you selected randomly you will get a majority of people of Eurasian descent and you'd be lucky to get anyone from the more rare races or ethnicities whatsoever. There is more genetic diversity over 100 miles of Central Africa than there is between Ireland and Japan. Let dogs decide. If the dogs like them, they live. It's the only way. People with important jobs such as doctors, nurses, various researchers, etc. that want to enjoy working long-term and want to live forever, would rather have someone that enjoys working help contribute to society forever to help better it. People with endless sex drive and higher capability of reproducing. Immortals will give birth to immortals and it will go on. You fool. You monster. You've doomed us all. Those with a higher sex drive are now immortals, and that means we've got, like, the top 0.01% of sex drive in the world. Them's some horny mofos. So, they'll reproduce like crazy, and those children will have inherited their parents' prodigious sex drive, and they, too, will reproduce like crazy. Homo sapiens mortalis has a 7 billion unit head start, but Homo sapiens immortalis will catch up in a few dozen generations. And then, things only get worse. Overpopulation. Homo sapiens mortalis begins to die off in droves as resource scarcity squeezes them off the globe. Ecosystems collapse to ruin. Wars and upheavals cripple the globe as humankind tries to turn against the rising immortal tide. But their guns are no more use against the immortals than a flashlight might be. If anything, the guns only show the futility of the conflict. Humans are vulnerable. The new mankind is not. The last mortal man dies eventually, likely somewhere out in the desolate ruins of civilization, but the horny droves of immortals have only just begun to suffer. None of them die, so their population only continues to increase exponentially. They engage in massive starving orgies of frustration and rage at the failing world, but their sex drives are still 99.99% percentile of current human beings, so they don't and won't stop. More babies. More mouths. Less food. Less space. Less joy. Soon, the writhing horny mass of immortals spills over from the packed land masses and into the oceans. Poor, sexual beings drift to the bottom of the ocean's deepest trenches and have watery threesomes in Davy Jones's locker. Everyone is starving. Everyone is drowning. Everyone is rutting, and there's no stopping it. They're burning in volcanoes. They're struggling to breathe on mountaintops. They're under rubble of ruined buildings and giving each other hand jobs. Soon, the writhing mass of humanity will begin to smother out the planet, covering every inch too of earth and ocean. The human tide rises, as immortals spend millions of years compressed beneath the sexual writhing of the immortals above. Eventually, After billions of years of suffering and reproducing, Earth reaches critical mass, and it begins to collapse in on itself as it forms a main sequence star. It is composed entirely of sexy, unkillable gods, and they scream for all eternity as they burn under the massive compressing weight of the golden star. That star is Sol. It is our sun. This has all happened before. It will all happen again. Thank whatever deity it is that you believe in that you are not of the 0.01%. For their lot, and the lot of all those to come, is among the worst horrors that man, with our very limited minds, could ever imagine. People with the highest IQ, imagine how many things they could invent all over their lifetime. I'm sure that 1,000 engineers and 1,000 scientists with an average IQ would be better for humanity than 1,000 high IQ persons. Doesn't the guy with the highest IQ, or one of the highest IQs, but seriously incredible genius level, in America live in a trailer writing a My Theory of Everything book that he doesn't work on while inventing nothing? Choose 1 million of the top scientists in the fields of bioengineering and cellular robotics to try to get everyone else to become immortal. With everyone immortal, society would progress much faster, as we would have no need for developing new weapons and could focus solely on improving our existence instead of ending it. Which way do you think is better? Leave a comment. And subscribe to this channel if you want to see more same videos.